All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Saturday afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. Just a quick video today. I got done with my Saturday chores. Yay! Had to pull up the spikes and everything. We live on our property abuts a public park with a hockey ring, and in the wintertime, hockey here in northern Duluth is very popular. And so the idiots like to park on my lawn and in my driveway and block traffic and yada yada yada. So we put those big orange spikes in the ground to let the idiots know they can't park there. And so me and the boy went outside today and we removed them, and we did some grocery shopping. We did all kinds of chores and, you know, those adult type things that you do, you know, that we have to do as adults. So I'm going to move this over. Today's Moonbeam stream is, let's see. Oh, wait, I got to get, oh, there we go. It says one person's online right now, but I'm assuming that's me. I wanted to talk, and here's the thing. I'm streaming the Moonbeam first. Moonbeam or OBS saves my video, and it gets getting chubby, but I'm losing weight down to like 250. I was 260. So Moonbeam OBS saves the recording, and so then I can further later update it to YouTube, and I'm doing it. There is software that allows you to stream simultaneously, but I don't want to do that. I would like to convert all of my users over to Moonbeam as much as possible, and or have Moonbeam as my primary stream resource, and then have excuse me, and then have YouTube as the secondary. So I've been on YouTube for almost 10 years now, and I just found out that there's a proper way to stream on YouTube. And excuse me, I got a bad cough. The proper way is to set your videos a certain way, and so that YouTube's algorithm has time to look at your video and put it in front of the proper people. I never knew that. I just recorded my video and uploaded it and would put it out there for everybody to see. And evidently that is not the proper way to do it. So I'm trying something new. I'm actually setting the videos up to upload like 2 or 3 days later after I record them on Moonbeam. So it's basically just another option, resource, or whatever. But today's video du jour, I wanted to talk about something. My good buddy Brian turned me on to, I've been a long time GURPS fan now. People who follow my YouTube and know Mr. Mean Speaks, I'm not a fan of most D6 systems. I don't like Shadowrun. I love the world, can't stand the mechanics. I love West End games. I don't like the mechanics, especially the older version. Now, the newer ones I've heard are a little bit better, the newer games. And they did a redo of WEG a couple years ago, where they came out with fantasy, modern, and sci-fi, I believe, or space, I think they call it. I don't remember. I never got any of them because, like I said, I'm not really into D6 games. But that being said, I hear they're actually pretty good, and I probably need to pick them up at some time. But my buddy Brian was talking about on his, I think it was Facebook, that he picked up Monster Hunter 3, The Enemy. And this is a series of books that use GURPS Monster Hunters as a setting. There's an actual book. I don't believe it's hardback. I could be wrong. But I think one of the things that's hurting GURPS the most is the lack of a bestiary. Dungeons and Dragons, Mutants and Masterminds, geez, you name, just almost every game out there has a bestiary with pre-done stats for all their monsters. So if you need an orc, you just flip over to orc and the bestiary, and you've got all your stats laid out and ready to go. GURPS has never done that. What GURPS does is they give you the dice pool, the range, for a typical orc, let's say, and then it's up to you to roll up all the stats and make that monster viable in your game. And there's several reasons for this. One of the big ones is they want you to make the monster you want. So if you need him to be a big bad or whatever, you just adjust his attributes accordingly, or so on. And you pick when you're building him, and they do have a pretty robust character creation software which you can use to make monsters. But there is, if I remember correctly, there's no randomize button or anything like that, and the software is pretty out of date. I don't think they've kept up on it very much. There is the GURPS character sheet, which is a separate product that is done by a third party. It's amazing. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a very good live play software, meaning you can use that software during a game session. So if you're running, playing in a GURPS campaign, you can fire up that software on your laptop or your tablet, and you can go nuts with it. I'm not sure if it's tablet friendly. You may have to do it on a PC or a Mac. I run it on a Mac. I know it works on the Mac. I'm not quite sure if it's Android or iOS friendly. I don't think it is. But either way, if you have a small laptop or whatever, you could run it in session, and it's really good. GURPS character sheet. It's a phenomenal piece of software. I can't really do notes in the doobly-doo here on Moonbeam. I hope that's something they'll add up. I can put it in the chat, but as the chat scrolls, it would disappear in the ether. And I'm not a big fan of that's the one thing YouTube has over Moonbeam. But anyway, I digress. Monster Hunter 3: The Enemy is the third book in this series. This is just a little tiny book. It was $14 on. I bought it off of. I believe I bought it on Amazon, or I bought it off of Amazon, off the Steve Jackson web store on Amazon Direct Print. So this is my copy. It's glue bound. It's only made in the USA, Manet, Illinois. It is a whopping page count here. About 40 pages, including the index. And what is neat about this is, now this is high-level monsters. This is were creatures, lycanthropes, some of the bigger normal animals, but you've got demons, you've got angels, you've got spirits, you've got zombies, you've got witches, you've got vampires, mummies, chupacabra, Bigfoot, werewolves, all the big spooky horror type monsters. For a horror game, and it's got all the stats, so it's amazing. So if you're running a monster type game or whatever, a GURPS fantasy game, you could use a lot of the monsters out of here. Just remove some of the abilities and stuff that are modern day, like firearms and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty solid, and it's got swarms of giant rats, and it's got all the stats, everything you need. So like I said, the thing that's killing GURPS for me, for this to be my go-to generic game system, is the lack of a pre-populated bestiary where I have a plethora of monsters that I can just pop out and use at any time, instead of having to roll up all the stats, choose the quirks, choose the advantages, choose the disadvantages and everything. I don't have to do that with this. With this, I just pick a monster and I go. If I want to adjust it, I'm free to, because I'm the GM. I can do that, but it's really well made. It's typical, GURPS, Steve Jackson quality. The art is really good in it. It's classic art, black and white. Matte finished pages. I'm trying to find a good piece of art here. There's the vampire. It's pretty solid. So very well done. $15 on drive-through, or not drive-through, on Amazon print on demand through their GURPS store. So definitely check it out. But I wanted to talk a little bit about GURPS because it is a fantastic set. It's really easy to get people into GURPS. Is it hard to play? No, I don't think so. The great thing about GURPS is you can run it as stripped down as you want, or you can add more to it. And all you need is the two basic books, the campaign and the character book. These are, at the time I bought these, they were $40 each. I don't know how much they are now. These are hardback, full color, glossy pages. Very well done. Everything you need to get into GURPS. The setting, or the campaign book, is basically the GM book. It's telling you how to run. There is a free primer, GURPS primer, how to play GURPS, that you can download. It's PDF. Some stores even have them in stock where you can just take them. It's really good. If you go to a convention where GURPS is being supported, I highly recommend you give it a try. So the characters book, this is your player's Bible. This is your player's book. This is all the options that you need as a player to make a viable character. It is a points buy system. So if you're not into simple math, then maybe not the game for you. But if you don't mind simple math, you have advantages and disadvantages. You have quirks. Yeah, I mean, it's good. The character sheet is very simple. And again, I recommend the GURPS character sheet to use, but it's really good. I can't say enough about it. You know, it takes into effect, the combat is fantastical yet somewhat realistic. So meaning you are going to be affected by encumbrance. You're going to be affected by wounds. You're going to be affected by status effects that are put on you, like if you're feared or you're sick or you're poisoned. Those things are going to always go in there. And your encumbrance, I mean, it's just pretty cool. You have damage resistance, you have parry, you have block. The combat is pretty detailed, but not so detailed that it's unplayable, in my opinion. I think it's one of the better combat systems. Can it get nitty-gritty and in-depth and very technical? Yes, if that's the way you want to play it. But there's also Dungeon Fantasy, which is basically GURPS Light. And you can play that if you're into a more fast, loose play. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons or a Pathfinder player, you're not going to have much problem with this. It is a points buy system, so it's going to be a little bit different. But you're gonna take to this like a fish to water. It's a pretty easy system. Your GM is going to give you a points allocation. 250 points is like a pretty well to do. I would equate that to like a 5th to 7th level character, whereas a 100-point character is maybe 2nd, 3rd level, and like an 80-point character, 50 to 80 is like a 1st level character, and you're squishy and so on and so forth. But you spend your points wisely using the GURPS character sheet, you can build a very viable character with almost the least amount of points. And the nice thing is they do a lot of packages. So you want to play a dwarf, you go to the dwarf. Let's see if I can find it in here. There's disadvantages. There's all kinds of cool stuff in here. Let's see if they have. And they also have, like, you want to be a fighter, you want to be a cleric. They have these packages. So you could, human is your standard run-of-the-mill. Oh, and by the way, for those that don't know, GURP stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System. So you can play pretty much anything. And there is a number of splat books out there that will let you do what you need to do. I'm trying to look at the races. I always start with character concept. The book is really laid out. It talks about basic attributes. And I wanted to get to the packages. I wanted to find a package so I could show you. And of course, you know, it's going to fight me and I'm not going to be able to find it easy. That's disadvantages. Where are the racial packages? Because they're called racial, and they're probably under sample character sheet, base attributes, base lift and encumbrance, creating a character. And they give you an example of creating a character. Let me see. Character development, psionics, templates. There we go. Character templates. How to use character templates. Racial templates. The magic, technology. I mean, it goes in here. Combat light, iconic characters. I forgot about the iconic characters. Templates 258. Let's just see. 249. 257, psychic powers, character templates. All right, so they give you a sample. So racial templates. So dwarf, you want to be a dwarf in your fantasy game, the standard dwarf, and this is a typical dwarf. So you can spend points, quirks, advantages, perks to make him your own. But you spend 35 points out of your, let's say, 100 points. The GM gives you an average character is about 150 points is typical for a medium-powered GURPS game. 35 points, and it will give you your health is +1. Health is going to determine a lot of things. One of them is going to be how many hit points you have. So you get health +1. So the stat base for everything is a 10. And then you go up or down. Obviously, if you decrease a stat, you get points. If you increase a stat, it costs points out of that build point, or BPs. So it's 35 points to buy this package. And it doesn't sound like you get a lot, but you get enough, because remember, you're going to spend your points to beef up your strength or beef up. If you want, and remember, 10 is the average across the board. So if you're playing a normal dwarf with a strength of 10, that is average. If you're playing a human with a strength of 10, it's average for a human. There's no mechanical variance for being a dwarf or a human, only what you put on it. If you choose to use these packages, you don't have to use these packages. You could buy these choices with your own build points and then make your own character, and it would come out very much the same, but you could put your own. You could take certain quirks and perks. So you get attribute modifier health +1, that costs you 10 points. Secondary characteristic modifiers, small, gives you 1 point, and willpower -1. Dwarves are not very willpower. Dwarven greed. Advantages, now these cost points. Artificer, 1, 10 points. Detect gold, vague, 50%. So they've got it at 3 points because it's normally a 6-point advantage, but because they're dwarves, they get a racial modifier of 50%. So instead of costing it 6, it costs them 3. Extended lifespan 1 costs 2 points. They live a little bit longer, and they have night vision 5, which costs them 5 points. So it's nothing crazy, and you don't even have to take that package. You could still build this spending the 35 points, but they've done it for you. And what's great about that is when you go into the GURPS character sheet software, it has that all factored in. So when you click that character package, it deducts the points and adds everything for you. So you can really play whatever game you want with GURPS. That is the whole point of GURPS. And then what I did is I picked out 2 splat books. These are optional books. There's GURPS Transhuman Space. So if you want your cyberpunk, your hard sci-fi, this is a good book right here. There's sleeves. For those that don't know, a sleeve is an alternate body that you can put your consciousness into. So if you're into transhumanism, this is a really good book. It is very well done, and I highly recommend it. It's a really good book. So if you want a hard sci-fi, you want to do Carbon Gray, you want to do Blade Runner, this is the book for you. It's a really good book. And then, of course, you've got fantasy. If you want to do your typical fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Harn, anything else, you could actually mix these two and do Shadowrun, or Low Life 2099. Although I recommend you play Low Life 29 because it's a phenomenal system. This has got all kinds of monsters and critters in it. It's got all kinds of good things for fantasy. All of Steve Jackson's games come with bibliography, fiction, what they recommend to read for whatever they are. Folklore, it comes with a glossary, comes with an index. It's always good stuff. So, and I think he has a default setting in here. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff in here. There's not necessarily a default setting, but there is a bunch of all kinds of information to make a cool setting. And I'm actually thinking about running a GURPS, maybe GURPS Sci-Fi. I do GURPS fantasy. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. So either one is really popular for me. So it's a up and up one here. It's tough because I like them all. But that's just a little bit of the GURPS. There's tons of splat books, tons of PDFs. Warehouse 23 is their is their online store for Steve Jackson games. Go check it out. When I post this on YouTube, I'll try to put a link in the doobly-doo. Again, Moonbeam doesn't allow you to do that, although I could put it in the chat. That would kind of help. But yeah, it's GURPS fantasy. There's GURPS sci-fi. There's GURPS high tech. There's all kinds of supplements. If you are into, you want a lot of books. If you're like, say, a Palladium Rifts fan, but you don't like, you're disenchanted with Palladium, or you don't want to do Savage Worlds Rifts, you could totally do it in GURPS. And there's a number of fan-made settings out there and stuff like that. I've seen GURPS Shadowrun. I've seen GURPS Cyberpunk. GURPS Conan. There's all kinds of supplements. Go check out Warehouse 23. I'm actually seriously considering running a GURPS game on my channel, on my Discord, which will lead me into the segue of, if you're seeing this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Join the Meanie Army. It's $5 a month on Patreon, or you can do Ko-Fi if that's your thing. The nice thing about Ko-Fi is it allows you to do a one-time donation if that's what you want to do. All the links will be down the doobly-doo. If you're on Moonbeam, you can give me some moonstones. That's always really nice. Really support the creator. I appreciate it. That money goes back into the channel. If you like me on Moonbeam here, go ahead and follow the channel. I really appreciate it. And more to come. I hope you enjoyed this. It gave you a brief interview of GURPS. It's a 3d6. I guess I should have stated that earlier. It's a 3d6. You want to roll equal to or less than, plus or minus modifiers on 3d6. 18 is always a critical failure. Triple ones is always a critical success. Other than that, of course, skills go higher. So the higher you get your skill, you can never have a skill higher than 17, I believe. There is always a chance for failure. Other than that, I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully this wet your whistle for GURPS a little bit, and you'll check into it and let me know what you think. Always on Discord, always on Moonbeam. Links are in the doobly-doo. Feel free to join me here on Moonbeam. Let's take this journey together. And as always, as Mr. Mean says, peace and hair green. Peace and hair grease. Remember, be nice. I'll talk to you guys soon.